Jim Edwards here for MMALatestNews.com. Today I got to talk to the Venator FC owner Frank Merenda, and we talked about the upcoming Venator 3 card and of course Jason Mayhem Miller. Check it out.
So first of all, talking about Luke and Jason Ball, I know that it's a bit, not a bit, it's a lot controversial, but I just want to differentiate what was the reality to the perception that people have all around the world around the Miller case. Because the reality is that Miller, for example, has been convicted in the court of public opinion, but the government has yet to win any of 5 pending cases against him. So that's the reality, okay? So he's a punk, I know about that, okay? But the reality is that he has not been convicted right now from the court. And I think that we have to discuss a bit about that, because I don't want to hire criminals. This is not the plan of Venator FC, okay? So this is not our plan. But we have to talk straight, because, for example, the problem, the biggest problem with Miller, and sorry, Jim, my English is a little bit rusty, a lot rusty, but I hope you can understand what I'm going to say.
Perfect.
That everything started when his ex-girlfriend accused him of assault and something like that. But the problem is that he's no war machine. War machine crashed that son of a bitch is a criminal, that he crashed 17 bones inside his girlfriend, okay? And Miller actually barely, when he was accused from the ex-girlfriend, barely left her with nothing, with a little scratch under the eyes, something like half an inch. And Miller said, guys, I had to wrestle her because he just went mad. She was with a knife, and I have to wrestle her to wrestle a knife out of this woman's hand. And so she accused me, but actually I didn't nothing against her, okay? Because I'm a killer, and because Miller crashed heads. He's a professional fighter, and if he wanted to do some damage to this woman, I think that be finished like War Machine case, but this is not the case. And so when you are convicted to the public opinion, then you are a raper who beat the shit out of a woman, then you are finished. And that's where the Miller tragedy started, because the police started to persecute him, harassing him. Last time he did something stupid, something like an entire SWAT team with guns and helicopters and something like that. They just came to take him in his house, but he was an unarmed man. So he's a punk, he's a bully, he's a son of a bitch and everything, but he's not a criminal right now, okay? So a lot of things are against Miller, but I know this guy, I talk with this guy, and he's crazy, okay? He's crazy, he's a punk, but he's not a bad person. And I think that being focused about fighting, being back on the saddle, having this opportunity of being back again will be a great chance for redeem himself in front of the public. And I think that he deserved this opportunity, because when you are convicted to the public opinion that you are a son of a bitch, that you beat the shit out of a woman, that you're finished, because no promotion wants to sign with you. And then actually we lost something like 3-4 years of Miller career. Miller in 2012 was named the 3rd most famous MMA fighter in the world, and everything was gone. So what this guy has to do, okay, we have to convict him before alleged court convict him. I don't think so, okay? So I spoke to this guy. This guy is keeping his word to staying out of trouble since he signed with Venator, because everything happened these days, the media, because were things that he did in January and last year that are just coming out these days. But he's keeping up to his word to staying out of trouble.
Wasn't he arrested last week, though?
Yeah, but it was for a graffiti he did in January. It's not something he did some days ago. Okay?
Okay.
And the problem is that if you only read the media and the headline, you will finish to just read a part of the truth or what the police want to say about these guys. Okay? But the problem is that is just the face what a wall in a small wall in a closed tattoo shop that is already closed. So what are we talking about? Okay, this guy is a punk. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Okay, but it's not the monster that people are trying to depict. Because so let me be serious. Talk me about John Jones running away. A crime scene where he crashed onto a pregnant woman. He was on crack. He ran away. Just came back to took some money from the car. So John Jones is okay. So why don't we have to boycott Jones versus Cormier too? John Jones is a real criminal. This guy just made a tattoo on a wall. Okay, come on.
Yeah, what I think people would riposte to that and say is that John Jones was convicted of the crime he committed and he served his time. He did all of his public service that he was required to do, and I think that although some UFC fans may have forgiven him and have become, starting to get quite excited about that fight at UFC 197, I still think there's a section of the fan base that probably will never forgive him for what he's done.
Yep.
So I'm not too sure it's as clean cut as John Jones versus Jason Miller in terms of who's right, who's wrong. I think that there's obvious cases where both are wrong, but it's interesting. So how often do you kind of speak to Jason then?
What, sir?
How often do you speak to Jason Miller? Like every week, every day?
Well, actually, I speak with him almost every week to know if everything is good. Right now, of course, we spoke since he came out of jail and is back to training. Of course, I'm not in LA. I'm not watching at him what he's doing. Okay, but I have to trust his word. I talk with his lawyer. I talk with his trainer, Jason Mayhem Miller. So this is the reality. So if we want to just believe what the media say, that they are making a thing bigger actually than I think it is. Okay, so if you want to say, I don't think it's right to do such a thing. Okay, I don't think it's right to just say, okay, you just have to leave Miller alone. He has to be forgotten. So what this guy is supposed to do? Okay, so he has to go. These people never talk to him. Okay, so this is mental health. No, have you ever talked to him personally? No. So what are you talking about? You just read some headlines. You just say, oh, he's a bully. He beat the shit out of a woman. Have you ever talked to Miller about this case? Have you ever talked about this lawyer? Have you ever talked about the fact? No, you just read the headline. My God. So it's not fair. It's not fair because when you are famous, okay, all the people in the world want a piece of you. So let's talk about Mike Tyson. Okay, Mike Tyson was allegedly with raping a woman. Okay, and it's okay. Okay, he paid for it. This woman you're with Mike Tyson in his bedroom. And what do you think is going to happen? Chess playing, talking about pervert. Well, what do you think is going to happen? So if you wanted to take a piece of this guy out of his life, you want his money. So just say, hey, he raped me. Okay, he beat the shit out of me. Okay, is my word against your word. Okay, this is how shit happens. Every time you are famous, you are under the radar, or you are a punk, so people can attack you. So they will do it. Okay. So nobody gets hurt with Jason Mayhem Miller. This is the reality, okay? His girlfriend barely had a little scratch of under the eye and a bruise on the leg, and War Machine crushed 17 bones, okay, in a woman. So I believe that if Jason Miller wanted to beat me or you and me will finish with a lot of crashed bone, not with a bruise.
I'm sure we would, but I mean, I guess again, just going back to what I think the public opinion would be, and my own opinion actually as well, is that any violence whatsoever against a woman is from a male is just not.
No, I agree,
acceptable.
Jim. I agree. I agree. But the problem is that is Miller right now the reality. Okay, beside the headlines of the media, the reality is that this girl's word against Miller word, because Miller say she was high, she attacked me, I have to disarm her, I had no intention to beat her. Okay,
Yeah.
I did nothing to her. So this is Miller word against this girl word. But if you read the media just say, oh, Miller beat him. Why you have to behave like that? But why Miller has no chance to say, my version is that I didn't do nothing to this girl. I had to disarm her. She was high. She just went mad. So because Miller is a punk, okay, he's a bad guy, so he has to be convicted like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, obviously, in any court case or anything, or any allegations, you hear both sides of the story, and then it's down to a judge, and obviously, normally in the it's a criminal act, a jury to decide the case, decide the fate of the defendant. I think that, but it's just my perspective, and I think it will be a very common one, that any violence against women should not be allowed. Anyway,
No, of course. Any kind of violence, okay? Any kind of violence never should be allowed, okay?
Yeah.
But right now, I have to take this girl word against Miller words. And Miller is just being trashed out for years for this story, and he, in the public opinion, with the public opinion, had never a chance to say, hey, guys, my version is that this girl just went mad at me and I did nothing to her, okay? So this is the reality. If I ever had an intention to hurt her, she would have been finished really hurt. Yeah. So I think it's credible. So let's talk about this, okay?
Yeah.
Because if I were Miller, okay, Jim, listen. I'm sorry, but I'm quite a okay. I don't want to be rude, but for example, okay, I'm quite a rich guy. Okay, I have money. Yep. Okay, so if a girl came into my house and as a scratch and say, oh, Frank beated me. I say, what do I have to do? This is his version against mine. And I have nothing to say because all the people, oh, you are beating girl. No, I'm not. Oh my God, this girl, I barely know her. So what can I do if all the media out there just starting to say, I'm a person that beat the shit out of a girl and I have no weapon to defend myself because you are just beat the shit out of me. You're just trashing me out. I'm the monster. It's what I have to do. What am I supposed to do?
Well, to be quite honest with you, at the end of the day, like I was saying earlier, it's not the media who decides the fate of the defendant. So it's, the media are the media. Like, at the end of the day, the media are going to write stories, and at the end of the day, the judge is going to be the person that passes the sentence. If, and that's why we have a judicial system to determine, which doesn't take into account media, justice is normally served. Well, I hope it is anyway.
Yeah, no, but I agree. Okay, but just to make you understand, okay, I'm not defending a guy that is a criminal. I hate people, okay, who beat the shit out of a woman. Okay, this should never be allowed. But I think in this particular case, we should talk about this, okay, because there are two versions, and nothing has been settled in stone right now. Okay, so we're talking, and I don't think that when all the world is against you, everybody has to turn their back on you or abandon you or leave you alone and live your miserable life because you are something like with a bad disease. I don't think this is the case. But
no, 100% I agree with that, and I think we're even seeing in the cases where the stars are the biggest, especially in this sport. You look at people like Conor McGregor. I mean, 1 month ago, he couldn't have been more popular, and then obviously he gets beaten by Nate Diaz, and suddenly there's a lot of criticism coming out of the woodwork. But I guess the way to kind of come back from that is to, almost do what Conor's done, which is be humble and prove people wrong. And I think what most people would say is that Jason Miller, since these allegations, I mean, there's been not just that, but several other incidents where his behaviour and conduct could have been a lot better. And I guess that's what doesn't help it when he's trying to obviously get himself away from allegations like this. What I think can help is obviously being on shows like Venator, showing up on the day, but showing the people that actually, for 15 minutes when the cage door shuts, this is my athletic ability, and if you can't respect me for anything else, this is what you're going to respect me for. So, I mean, I'm just really interested. Have you been hearing from Jason as to whether he's been training hard for this? Do you think he's going to come in prepared?
I think that Miller is really, really, really focused on training, and I can assure you right now, because we had a conversation with him recently, and he wanted to bring with him one of his guys to have a bout in Venator tour, but he decided to leave him in LA because he wasn't training properly. So I suppose that he took this chance that we are giving him really seriously. So we have to see, okay, man, we have to see, okay, what's going to happen, because he's a crazy motherfucker. I like him in a certain way, but he's a crazy motherfucker. But when I have news for him, he's training and he's training properly, and I think that it will be, if everything is going well, I think it will be a win-win situation, because he's, of course, putting the lights on our show, but the main purpose also is to give him the opportunity to be under the radar again, and to have the opportunity to be interviewed to a lot of medias and give his his way of the facts, okay? Give his what he think and what he really did, and what I think is good for him to be known to the public, because nobody wanted to interview him. They just look at that, okay? Nobody during 3-4 years ever talked about Miller, was never interested about Miller. They were interested when he did something, or not did, but he did something stupid, so he was in jail, something like that. Why don't you care? Why don't you give a fuck about Miller, about what he's gonna do, if he's coming back or something like that? When he's going to jail, he reached the first page of every media out there. So I don't think it's fair.
I think, obviously, like you said, Jason a few years ago was one of the most well-recognised stars within MMA. But Jason hasn't fought for a very long time. So people like myself, who's a pure MMA journalist, I can't write anything about Jason Miller apart from the fact that I see he's getting arrested.
No, of course, I agree with you.
To be honest, so I'm one of those people that would just love to. I honestly cannot wait to write about Jason Miller competing once again. So when he gets in the cage. Until then, what I'd love to see from him is him shut up, stop getting in trouble, probably just let you, just not shut up, but possibly just stay out, keep his nose clean, prove to us that, this is the Jason Miller we love and respect.
Yeah, consider this, okay, between me and you, okay? We put a really strict contract with Miller, okay? And the contract said that the majority of what he's gonna earn from his bout is related to how he will behave well. So showing time, be nice, everything like that, okay? So he agreed. He agreed. His coach agreed about that. So he's behaving, I think he's starting to follow the right path, okay?
That's great.
And I hope that, I really hope for that. I would love to think that this will be a great story of redemption. I think that it will be a great story of coming back from trash, okay? So let's see, it's in Miller's hands right now, okay? I want to give him this opportunity. I can be criticized, I understand, I will take the shit in my face, I know that, I understand, okay? You don't like me because I give this guy a chance, I can understand, but I want to give Miller another chance to be back in the saddle and walk back to the path he's supposed to be, okay?
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, this crazy son of a bitch is still crazy, but is a good guy. Okay?
How does it feel, kind of, because you are relatively new to the MMA scene, especially, in the mass media, and you've taken a lot of criticism so far for some of the decisions you've made. Is that kind of, I don't know, is that part, are you finding it hard to deal with, or are you dealing with it okay?
Well, actually, I feel excited because I think that we are doing something good for the MMA. I think we are going to do something new, because of course all the attention right now is on Miller, is on Palhares, because they are so controversial people. But we have if you see the card, the world card, and today we are going to announce another 3 international bouts with ex-UFC fighters and things like that. Just nice guys. I think they are severely underrated, and they don't are not receiving the respect and the opportunity that they deserve. So this is all about. This is what Venator FC is all about. Okay, taking undervalued and underappreciated good fighter, spectacular fighter, and give them again an opportunity to show how much they care, how much they want to be at the top of their games. And actually, Venator FC is all about opportunities. Okay, so it's an opportunity for the good guys. Of course, it's an opportunity also for a little bad guys like Miller, like Palhares. But if you have to look at the whole card if you want it to be fair with us. Okay, that's what I think.
And what's kind of the overall? What's your overall ambition with Venator? It's a relatively new promotion, but it'd be good to kind of understand what is your like overall goal.
Well, actually, if I have to be sincere, we just started with a small project to give to the Italian talent a good show, okay, where they can be seen all around the world. They could have been paid fairly and things like that. Because before I came into the stage of Italy MMA, there were really poor organized organization promotion, okay. And then we started like that. And the problem is that we discovered that there were a lot of good Italian talents who were barely appreciated and severely underrated. And they are strong. They are strong. If you're gonna come and see the card, you see for yourself. And then soon we ran out of good opponent for the top in Italy. So we started to search for international fighters, and so that's how we came in contact with Luke Barnett, for example, and we started to hire some international well-known fighters. And Mark Goddard actually helped us a lot, giving us a lot of help, a lot of support, a lot of credibility. He will be, again, our referee, chief referee in charge for all the organization. We will have Rich Franklin, again, because we have an international staff. So we have international referees, we have international judges, we have international captains. So we really we don't want you to come in Italy and think, oh, this guy, I have to fight an Italian guy, so I have to knock him out twice, because if not, I'm not going to win. So we'd love to be perceived as a really international fair organization. So Mark Goddard is going to be our seal of approval. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't want to these people. I want that Mark is really happy with what we are going to do. I want Rich is going to be really happy. So I want to let this guy down because we don't do something really good. So I talked to Mark, for example. Do you think it's a good idea if I gave Miller another chance? And he said, there is no problem with me. Okay, talk with him and let's see if he wanted to be back, really focused, if he really want to train. So let's give these guys another opportunity, because at the end of the day, the cage will talk, and they will talk outside of the cage, but it's none of our business. So let's do it. So something like that.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess talk to me about Luke Barnett for a minute.
Yeah.
Like he's your Venator champion at the moment. Who's kind of how did your relationship start with him, and what kind of it'd be good to understand what you see the future with him as well as if he remains your champion when he fights Jason Miller.
Yeah. So actually, Luke is the only fighter in the Venator roster that I wanted personally, because I have a matchmaker that is doing absolutely well his job, but One day I see on, I don't know, MMA Junkie, something like that, MMA News, that Luke was cut off from UFC, and I was a fan of him. I said, okay, I want this guy in my organization. And I flew to England personally to talk with him and told his manager and said, okay, man, I'm the promoter of Venator FC. I want you in my promotion. And then we talked a bit, and then he accepted. He has many offers before me from a lot of other organizations, bigger than we were at the time, but he accepted because he find me so excited to have him on board, and then he accepted, and he came, he fought a tremendous fight, and he became champion, and we are good friends right now. Okay, Luke is a good friend of mine. It's fantastic. And I love him, and the main purpose for him is to give quickly a chance to have a very well-known show, to keep on track, keep winning, and then I hope that in the near future he can come back to the UFC or maybe going to Japan, where he can gain a lot more much money than what we can give him. Okay, of course. And so this is what Venator is all about, to give the people a show where they can be appreciated again. And I hope for Luke that he will be back in the right place where he deserves to be right now. And I think that he's a very well worth UFC fighter, and I don't agree absolutely with Dana cutting him off, because it was on a three straight losing streak, but two were a rip-off of him, and the last one was a terrible battle. Okay, it was a terrific battle. Okay, with Mark Munoz in his home country. So I think it's the best example of bad cut in the UFC history, Luke Barnett. So I hope he can be back soon. That's what I hope for him. Of course, I'd love to have him with me forever. Okay, but I don't. I think he is bigger than Venator. Okay, in the long run.
What about the kind of just the short-term future plans for Venator? How many shows are you looking at this year? Are you looking to take the shows outside of Italy at all?
Yeah, well, actually, we have a lot of guys, a lot of promoters, a lot of managers, a lot of fighters all around the world that started to love us because they came to Venator. They saw how we really love the fighters. For us, actually, the reality is that for me, it's not a business. If you want to join me. Welcome to the business of losing money. Okay, guys. So this is the reality. So I'm just a terrific MMA fans, and actually, I love the fighters. I really love the show. I was a pioneer in Italy of MMA in 1996. Then I became a businessman, so I had to drop it, but I remained a huge fan. And then when I grew up and I had the opportunity to give something back to this world, I decided to start Venator. And so a lot of people, a lot of international fighters, a lot of international managers came to Venator. They started to appreciate how we treat them fairly, how we really love them, and we really love to give them a fair opportunity. And this is not an Italian company, okay? It's an international company with international staff. And so we are receiving a lot of proposal to bring Venator, for example, to England, to Brazil, to United States, through the help of our good friends that we have over there. So let's see what happens, man. So I will be excited to bring Venator as soon as we can across the border. So let's see, okay? I'll let you know when we have done something more concrete, more real, okay?
Cool. I guess just to finish, can you just remind me and everyone when the next Venator Show 3 is? I believe it's on May.
The 21 of May will be Venator 3.
Yep. Good stuff. Cheers, Frank. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jim.